When I was a young kid, I was introduced to Star Wars. Now, I'd seen it before that, but I didn't really understand what was going on. But this time, it was making sense. I watched the prequels first because they had come out most recently, and I had fallen in love with them. The mysticism blew my mind at the time. Anakin turning into Darth Vader, Obi-Wan and Anakin going from best friends to enemies, Yoda being this weird little green creature. I just absolutely loved it all. And from there on, I watched the original trilogy where my mind was absolutely blown. Star Wars was peak cinema to me. I couldn't believe how well written it was, and that George created the originals before the prequels, but they were actually set in a time period after the prequels. It was incredible, and my kid brain loved it all. Up until around 2015, I was fully encapsulated by Star Wars. I had Star Wars birthday parties, I dressed up as Anakin and Darth Vader for Halloween multiple years, and I even watched every movie as much as I possibly could. I had the action figures, the minis, the Legos, and especially the toy lightsabers. Fast forward to 2015 though. Force Awakens was coming out. I love Star Wars so much and was so excited for the movie to come out that I had actually signed up to be considered for a background character role for the movie. Although I never heard anything back, I was still so intrigued. Could this movie have Anakin as a Force ghost? Could Luke be back leading the Jedi? Kylo and Rey seem like cool characters. This new story could be so exciting. But then the movie came out, and I actually liked it. Luke was back. Of course, there was some copying from A New Hope, and it didn't feel all that original, but it was safe, and I liked it being safe. Let's fast forward to The Last Jedi, or as I like to call it, the movie that changed Star Wars forever. It was December 15th, 2017. Some friends and I decided to see The Last Jedi together with very high hopes that it would be an amazing continuation of The Force Awakens, and we would finally see Luke wielding a lightsaber once again on the big screen. The opening credits roll by, and at this point I just cannot wait to see where it picks up off with Luke. And then it starts. The beginning was meh, with some weird jokes, but it wasn't terrible. But then there's Luke. Rey reaches his lightsaber out to him once again. He reaches his normal and bionic hand both out to grab it. The music is getting louder, more suspenseful. What would he say? What would he do? And here's where it all changed forever. Luke grabs the lightsaber and literally throws it off a cliff. He's broken, old, and he has zero hope in the Jedi anymore. He tells Rey exactly why the Jedi were failures. How a Jedi trained Darth Vader and how they allowed Darth Sidious to rise to power. He talks about how the Jedi weren't actually heroes. And this is where the kid inside of me broke. The kid inside of me that watched Luke become a powerful Jedi with such little training but such high hope. Hope that he could change the galaxy, hope that he could save his loved ones, and hope that he could redeem his father's actions. He was the embodiment of what a true Jedi really was, and as a kid I wanted to be just like that Jedi. The Last Jedi did that to a lot of people though, and that's why I say it changed Star Wars forever. It divided a once together fan base, and yes, I know that the prequels had its division of fan base, but it was definitely not this bad. People who were so excited for The Force Awakens were unsure if they even wanted to see The Rise of Skywalker now. The only enticing thing was the hope that Anakin would come back as a Force ghost and help Rey along her journey. But no, again, no sighting of Anakin. Fast forward to today, and people still have a bad taste in their mouths about The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. It seemed like the franchise we once loved has failed us. They had taken our hopes and crushed them one by one in these movies with zero remorse. The directors didn't seem to care, and the actors themselves were upset about how their characters were portrayed, and yet Disney did not care. This has led to every Star Wars project to this day having super high criticism and the fan base of Star Wars to be heavily divided, making Star Wars really hard to enjoy. For myself, I still love Star Wars, and I am forever grateful that I got to live in a time where I saw Star Wars at its peak, before Disney was involved and George was at the helm. There are still shows and movies I enjoy today, but overall it has not felt the same since The Last Jedi came out. I just want that hope I had as a kid for this franchise to be restored once again. And Dave Filoni, you're our only hope.